Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be going over the American cruiser Norfolk. Now this is honestly one of my favorite cruisers in the game and she just got a little bit better. Let me rephrase that. She got better a little while ago, I just haven't done a video on her since then. Let's just go over this cruiser a little bit in case you're not familiar with her. So it's pretty much a Baltimore class cruiser at a lower matchmaking, a 7.5. And she's really strong. Instead of the three triple 8-inch though, we have two twin 12-inch guns on the front and one in the stern. Those guns pack a punch. There is only 6, but they hit a lot harder than you think. I've been able to citadel battleships with them at the right angles. Your secondaries are kind of like Illinois. They're actually not terrible. They do damage, versus pretty much every other American secondary that doesn't. And then her AA is pretty extensive as well. It's almost tier 8 levels at a 7.5 matchmaking. And we now have an anti-air barrage for her as well. And it's an unlimited use one, which is kind of OP. And if you don't want that, you can also use the radar that has a precision of 2.5 meters, which is extremely good for any kind of radar. There's not many ships that have that. She launches 2 fighters at the same time. She's fast. Her armor is pretty good if you know how to use it. There's not much that's wrong with this ship. In fact, I couldn't even tell you that something is wrong because her speed is not spectacular, but it's still up there. Range is good. It's an amazing ship. Definitely one of my top recommended ships. But we're going to show you how that new anti-air barrage works today, and hopefully we run into a carrier because this thing shreds planes like crazy. It did that before the barrage, so I can only imagine what it's like now. Alright, let's see what kind of game we have today. Hopefully a carrier. Let's take a look. No carrier. Alright, well, we're not going to be able to use our A defense that well then. But we have 4 battleships, a ton of cruisers, and a couple destroyers, which this thing is just going to eat up like nobody's business. Alright, so we do have to trade out our radar for this, so we're actually at a disadvantage now in this game. But let's see what we can do. I don't normally use radar anyways, but on maps like this, it's nice to know actually where the ship is versus where they could be. Alright. So we're going to head off to the right here as usual. Our guns, remember, they're the 12-inch ones, so they're not going to be as rapid firing or as rapid turning as the 8-inch, but still no issues with them whatsoever. And let's just start heading down this way. I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied, so do keep that in mind. And we're going to run into some nice targets. What kind of cruisers do we have? Norfolk, Miyako, Brooklyn, Pensacola, Chongqing. So majority of those are just floating citadels. So this will be a very good game against those. Gniezno, actually all of those battleships are pretty scary. Probably could Citadel Poltava and Leon from the stern. But I don't think Nelson or Gniezno I'm going to see any of those get citadeled. Alright, so let's just start heading this way here. You can put a couple planes up just to spot what destroyers, Javelin and Fubuki. Alright, yeah, I'm not too worried about those. Alright, so first victim, Pensacola, has arrived. Let's see what kind of maneuver she's going to do here. The accuracy is still pretty good on the ship. I do have a lot of focus on accuracy, but that was still 8k after 3 overpens still. So we're just going to pepper these cruisers for a little bit. 4 overpens, 4k. Oh, there's the Javelin right there too. Yeah, so that Pensacola is pretty much gone at this point. Then we can switch to some other cruisers here, such as this Norfolk. That Pensacola survived that? Well, someone else will get her, I'm sure. I got bigger fish to fry. Yeah, so 2 citadels right on the Norfolk there. The secondaries are going to start going to town here, doing some damage. There is a destroyer close by though, so I hope to focus on her when she's available to be seen. There goes the Norfolk. We got one of the Shun Kings here. So you can see how the secondaries are actually doing some pretty decent damage overall. There goes another one. And let's see if we can finish off this Shun King as well. No, a lot of those were misses, surprisingly. Let's focus secondaries on her. And start working over this Poltava. Maybe we can actually citadel her. She is pretty close, within 6 km. Oh yeah, we can. 2 citadels right there. I'm going to start reversing though, because there's a couple battleships coming up from the north that I don't really think I can deal that much against. Only 3 pens that time. There's torpedoes. So I can't go too far that way now. Right, so my secondaries... Actually, you know what? No, let's go for it. Let's rush. We're still going to do massive amounts of damage, even if we don't get a citadel. So, yeah, like right there, 11,000 damage. It's insane. And my secondaries are going to be doing some damages as well. Setting some fires. Yep, there's another fire. Got more pens. Let's actually start heading south. That way we can intercept those cruisers as well. Because there goes the Nelson. Secondaries on Fubuki. Should be able to take care of her. See if we can citadel this lion here. Nope, but 4 pens for almost 10,000 damage. Let's put a plane up so we can spot any torpedoes. Got 1 fired, but I'm pretty sure Leon's going to be down at this... Oh, she shrugged that off really well, actually. That's nice now. Okay. And there goes Leon. And let's just deal with a few more cruisers here. So we just lost our destroyer, but that's okay. Would like to start moving. This is sometimes a bug you can get if you run into a wreck and then the wreck goes away, but you still have trouble actually getting over the wreck even though it's not there. And let's see if we can citadel that Brooklyn again. Nope. Alright, so we're kind of in a bad spot now since the game says we can't move. But we're going to try and finish off that Pensacola real quick. There she goes. There goes the Miyako. Let's use a defensive A. I mean, there's a plane in the air. It's not necessarily a threat to me, though. And then Gneisenau. I'm not going to do anything to her at this angle. So I'm going to switch to high explosive. Hopefully I get around this wreck here. Alright, and let's see what we can do here. We're actually going to kite away as well. 2 fires. That was pretty good. You can see why I love this ship. It's just so strong. There's everything that can do damage. Right, a couple more pens. Secondaries are actually starting to open up as well. Get a little bit more damage with that. After this salvo, I'm going to switch over to armor piercing. There we go. Took out some secondary guns. She does have torpedoes, though I doubt she's going to use them. But let's kite away just in case. and start pumping some 12-inch armor piercing into her for 15,000 damage. This thing can honestly take on battleships relatively well. They just can't be shot at by battleships very easily. She doesn't take well to battleship shells. Her armor is still cruiser armor, even though it's honestly still pretty good. And then just one last salvo here. There we go. And we have that one Fubuki still. So we're actually going to switch to high explosive. And she's probably going to be over here. So I'm going to head that way. But yeah, your guns are good. Secondaries are good. You've been seeing them fire and doing damage. I have almost 200 secondary hits. AA, there wasn't really a carrier, but just take my word for it, it's really, really good. Her accuracy is really nice as well. Her damages, no issue. If armor piercing can't do the job, then high explosive definitely will. And if you do select the radar, you could pop it right now and actually have a pretty good idea of where that ship is. The range just isn't as far, but it is more accurate. So the rest of the bot team is capping A, which is nice. It'll cancel out their points. And then we just gotta find this last destroyer over here. We did actually had a really good game, and we didn't even take that much damage. I know I used a heal, but even then, I didn't really have to. Alright, so we should be getting close. I'm gonna pause the video until we actually get close to the ship here. Okay, here's that destroyer. We came up on her. Secondaries are already opening up. And let's just finish her off with a few well-placed 12-inch shells, and goodbye. Cool. So that was the game. Let's see how we did. Got a bunch of citadels on this cruiser, so I'm expecting some good damages here. 275,000 damage, 5 ships sunk, 110 shell hits, 4 aircraft shot down, 7 citadels, 8 fires, 1 module destroyed, 1 cap base, 5 defended caps, and 199 secondary hits, 13,000 base XP, and over 1,000 free XP. We had 13,000 damage in high explosive, which we only fired a few salvos at the end of the 3 salvos at the end of the game. Armor piercing did 195,000 damage. Fires did 32,000. Secondary battery did 34,000 damage. So yeah, you can see how it's kind of like Illinois secondaries, where they actually do a lot of damage over time. They even set the fires too. I only set 2 fires with my main guns, so that's 6 fires just from secondaries. So yeah, the ship is really, really good. Honestly though, I still think I might run with a radar, just for those instances where you need to know where the ship is. But if you do decide to run with the defensive AA, carriers are just going to have their planes melt right in front of you. I promise you that. So with that, I will wrap up today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe for further content. And join me next time while we go over the British cruiser that has defensive AA, Tiger C-20 or Southampton. So again, thank you and take care.